ArcGIS is designed to support everyone, from GIS and IT professionals to data scientists and executives, as well as industry professionals without a technical GIS background. Today's session highlights how the ArcGIS platform is working to make geospatial analysis and insights accessible regardless of technical expertise. Let's start with AI assistance. How can Gen AI provide value to GIS workflows in a secure, unbiased, and reliable manner? Currently, Esri is exploring ways to incorporate AI assistance into ArcGIS to enhance accessibility for new GIS users and also to improve the efficiency for experienced GIS professionals. The focus is on developing purpose-built AI assistants, which allow users to interact with ArcGIS through natural language. And today, we'll share the status of this work that will make ArcGIS more powerful and easier to use. The developers at Esri are working on a number of AI assistants across ArcGIS. These assistants leverage Gen AI and large language models to help you with specific tasks like search, or mapping, or survey design. And they often are embedded directly within the ArcGIS apps that you're already using. Before we take a closer look at some of these assistants, do note that they are all in different stages of development. Some of them are already available in beta in the ArcGIS Early Adopters program, and others are still in early development phase and subject to change. First up is ArcGIS Documentation and ArcGIS Pro. Perhaps the most obvious place to leverage Gen AI is through the ArcGIS Doc Assistants. Over the years, Esri has written detailed documentation about ArcGIS functionality, GIS concepts, and best practices. ArcGIS Doc Assistants will give you a new, more effective way to explore this information through a chatbot-like experience. For example, if you're new to using ArcGIS Pro and unsure of which tool to use for a spatial join, instead of searching through multiple documentation pages looking for the specific tool and workflow, the Doc Assistant for Pro can immediately provide step-by-step guidance. This helps you quickly find the information you need so you can answer your questions and work more effectively with ArcGIS Pro. Esri is starting with Doc Assistant for ArcGIS Pro, which is currently in beta, with a general release sometime this year. And within ArcGIS Pro itself, AI assistants have 3 focus areas to help reduce the learning curve for new users and boost efficiency for experienced users. The first is providing a Doc Assistant within ArcGIS Pro itself. This eliminates the need to search through multiple pages, providing quick answers without leaving the ArcGIS Pro environment. The second is providing assistants that help you complete specific actions. You could tell ArcGIS Pro to add a layer, or filter records, or run a specific tool, and it would perform that action for you. You could also use ArcGIS Pro assistants to quickly write SQL, Arcade, and OpenCipher, generating the appropriate code based on your instructions. This reduces manual steps required and saves time. Lastly, Esri wants to provide assistants that can guide you through workflows one at a time. You can tell ArcGIS Pro what you want to accomplish, and it will recommend the sequence of steps and tools to complete the workflow. This helps users navigate complex processes, allowing them to complete tasks more efficiently with AI-driven recommendations. ArcGIS Pro now has some of these capabilities available in beta for early adopters. Gen AI is also being brought into Survey 123. Survey 123 is our popular form-based data collection app designed to easily bring new information into ArcGIS. And today, in beta, there's an AI assistant that helps you design your surveys. You can ask the assistant to create questions or even entire surveys based on the data that you want to collect. The assistant can also build the questions into the survey you're designing, eliminating the manual configuration step. You can then review and adjust the survey to meet your specific needs. This is a huge time saver. In addition, a translation assistant can translate form designs to support multilingual surveys. This is also in beta now. And now I'm going to hand it over to Casey, who will show us a demonstration of the Survey 123 AI assistant.
So thanks, Ying. ArcGIS Survey 123 is a form-based data collection solution. Survey 123 helps you create surveys, get answers, and analyze the results. You can create surveys through Survey123 Connect for advanced features, or Web Designer for a drag-and-drop editor experience. Today, I'm going to show you how you can accelerate your survey designs using generative AI in the Web Designer. As temperatures are rising across the world, we want to understand from the public the comfort level in this increased urban heat. I'm going to just start on building a survey with Survey123 Assistant. Instead of dragging and dropping different questions, it uses a conversational approach to building surveys. In this chatbot experience, I ask the assistant to create a survey for public feedback. It gives an outline of what my survey might look like, and there's also extra text to prompt my users. Now, I want to include an additional question on the measures taken to tackle urban heat in Singapore. I can always enhance the survey by adding or modifying questions, including their options. I can visualize how the survey will look like by generating a survey draft. Ashray is really making this easy for everyday users to ask questions and get results. Next, as we engage the public, we recognize that the survey should be available in multiple languages. We can add some of the common languages, for example, in Singapore, Chinese, Bahasa Melayu, or Tamil. You have the option for additional languages as well. And with Translation Assistant powered by Azure AI Translator Service, we are able to support multiple languages dynamically. Now, let's see this survey. Users have the option to select the desired language for the survey. With Survey123 Assistant and Translation Assistant, we have been able to reduce the time from ideation to implementation. Now, everyone can start asking questions to enhance their survey creation. Back to you, Ying.
Thanks, Casey. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but that's definitely going to save me time in my work. In addition to that, photos are a common survey question. Using natural language, you can configure a survey to automatically extract information from photos and add it to the response. In the example here, we're telling Survey123 to extract license plate numbers from vehicle photos as part of a parking violation form. This makes data collection both faster and more accurate, and these features are also available in beta today. Next is a smart mapping assistant. This is an example of web GIS assistants, which will help make web users more productive within the apps they're already using, like Map Viewer. These assistants will focus on areas like mapping, analysis, administration, or data and metadata management. The first of these assistants is the Smart Mapping Assistant, which will go into beta later this year, but let's take a preview of what this would look like. Here's a look at the integration of the Smart Mapping Assistant in Map Viewer. Here we have a map with a layer of different housing and population variables in Pittsburgh, aggregated into hexagons. In the usual Styles panel, there will be a new ability to generate a style. And when we click on this assistant panel, opens up, and we see a text box that allows the user to use natural language to style the layer. There are also suggested prompts provided at the bottom, but for this demo, we're going to ask the assistant to visualize median home value. It will look through the fields available in the layer and identify the appropriate field. It comes back with the expected style of counts and amounts by color. We can then actually further customize the style that was generated and make changes until it suits what you're looking for. Some things that you can change are the symbol style, as well as the data range. And here, we're actually going to change the symbology to diverging or above and below color theme. Let's try something a little bit more specific, like showing total population using size. Here, we're indicating both a field and a style, whereas in the previous example, we didn't indicate a style, just a field value. And what we're going to expect is to get a style that visualizes total population by circle size. We can also ask for something that will require multiple fields, like predominant level of education. Once we enter this in, the assistant will search and select the fields relevant to predominant education attainment. And here in the card, we see that the correct fields were selected. We can also ask for more specific styles, like a dot density map displaying number of vacant housing units. So what we would expect is a map where one dot will represent one housing unit. Another example is asking the assistant to show the relationship between median home value and vacant units. Since we're comparing two variables, we would expect to show a bivariate map, meaning the map would highlight where high to low median home value and high to low vacant units are located. The cool thing about this assistant is that we can go back and click on the card to change the map back to that style that we generated. It also retains the configurations that we changed after the assistant generated the style. This allows us to quickly switch between the different styles generated for a quick exploratory process, helping us compare and evaluate various data visualization techniques before settling on the most effective one. So to summarize, GenAI is making mapping easier for new users and more efficient for experts. AI-driven recommendations, automated styling, and streamlined workflows simplify analysis and speed up geospatial content delivery. And I'm excited for all of you to be able to explore these features in beta later this year. While AI assistants focused on GIS users of all levels, we recognize there may be non-GIS users who also want to use maps. These industry or business professionals can also leverage the power of ArcGIS through our Microsoft Office apps integration. ArcGIS for Microsoft brings ArcGIS capabilities to Microsoft users, allowing them to interact with spatial information and better understand patterns, relationships, and trends within the apps that they already know and trust. There are three key benefit areas for an organization when using ArcGIS for Microsoft. The first is that it expands the capabilities of existing geospatial professionals to using familiar ArcGIS content within Microsoft applications. Second is that it extends location capabilities to industry professionals without GIS experience, but who want and need maps in applications that they are familiar with and comfortable using. Third, it also enables business developers with spatial functionality and location services in Microsoft's configurable application and process builders. Let's dive into some of these ArcGIS Microsoft integrations. Organizations use Power Automate to boost efficiency with low-code, no-code automation. It helps users automate tasks, reduce errors, and improve data quality. For example, sending automatic email alerts when a survey is submitted. The ArcGIS connectors for Power Automate enable organizations to leverage spatial capabilities as part of their automated workflows. The flows run on a schedule or are triggered by an event like a webhook from a feature service. Examples of how organizations use the connectors include creating point geometry or bringing in Survey 123 results for further analysis. The Power Automate connectors can be grouped into 4 functional groups. The first is data management, and these connectors streamline data integration and processing between ArcGIS and other systems. An example of when you would use these connectors is to track when a record is created or updated in a feature service. Second is geocoding and geo-enrichment, which can convert addresses to coordinates and adds location-based data. For example, if you're using Microsoft Forms with an address question, you can use the Find Address Candidate connector to convert the provided address into geographic coordinates. Third is spatial capabilities. These help to perform spatial analysis, like network analysis, and you might also be able to use this to retrieve geospatial data and combine it with other data sets within SharePoint or other business systems. Lastly, attachment handling helps you manage images, documents, and other file attachments. An organization may use this if they receive documents in SharePoint, but needs them attached to relevant geographic features on a map. ArcGIS is also integrated into Power BI. This adds a new layer of depth to analysis within Power BI reports by reading spatial information from a data set or converting location information into features on a map by geocoding or matching to a well-known geography. This allows business or data analysts to elevate their reports with interactive and linked maps that can be shared out to executives and other stakeholders to make more informed business decisions. ArcGIS is also integrated into SharePoint, a platform that many organizations already use to store, collaborate, and share information internally and externally. ArcGIS for SharePoint enables organizations to embed data-driven maps and explore and share content to improve team and project communication. For example, document management is made easier with the ability to associate documents with a feature in a map, allowing users to navigate via a map instead of searching through a file system. Some other capabilities include geocoding SharePoint lists, adding images to pop-ups, and publishing any SharePoint managed data as a service to ArcGIS, making it available to GIS users for their spatial analysis and workflows. With ArcGIS for Teams embedded in Microsoft Teams, you can quickly and seamlessly share an interactive ArcGIS map in a meeting. Let's say you're a spatial analyst sharing updates on your map and looking for feedback from stakeholders. ArcGIS for Teams allows you to share your map and allow your participants to follow where you're panning in the map. It also allows them to explore the map on their own and add annotations for their feedback. Sharing real-time operational maps located in a central location enhances teamwork, improves decisions, and enables your team to work in a single application, thus enhancing collaboration. I'm going to hand it over to Casey now, who's going to give a quick demo of some of these ArcGIS Microsoft integrations.
Microsoft's Power Automate cloud-based services allows users to create automated workflows to support different business systems. With Power Automate, it can help to automate repetitive tasks in no-code or low-code framework. And there are templates to get started. Templates are ready to use and configurable workflows to help you get started. Earlier on, we collated public feedback through Survey 123, and now we would like to build a flow to understand the sentiment of each survey that was collated earlier on. Triggers are events that starts a flow. In our use case, we are monitoring the survey's response submission. ArcGIS Connector for Power Automate offers a low-code to no-code environment for integrating ArcGIS processes with automation. The trigger is when a response is submitted through Survey 123, and now we'll set the appropriate values, for example, the name of the survey. Next, we make use of AI Builder to analyze the sentiment and return this result back to the survey. We analyze the language based on English, look for the particular field that we are going to analyze this data. We want to send this sentiment information back to our GIS data. We will set up an action to update our feature layer when a trigger is invoked. In this case, we update the record in the feature layer. We will look for the relevant survey name. Next, we'll look for an object ID, which is the unique identifier of each of the records. And next, we'll tie it up with the object ID from the survey response. Now, passing back the sentiment value analysis to our feature layer. Very quickly, we've come up with a flow, and now let's see in action. We'll save and do a manual trigger test. I'm going to submit a survey, which I've created earlier on. Some comments on whether it's too hot, requirements of more shelters, and placements of water coolers. Once the response is submitted, the connectors read the information, sends the information to the AI Builder to process the flow, and very quickly we get the response. So now let's drill into the AI Builder to look at how it actually processes the sentiment. We can see what is the field that's being passed into the AI Builder, as well as the relevant scores that dictates it is negative, neutral, or positive. ArcGIS connectors for Power Automate allows you to bring your web GIS into an automated process and get faster time to value. Now, as an analyst or an information analyst working with data, we often need to understand information and make decisions. After processing the survey data in Power Automate, I will use it to create a BI dashboard. First, I would like to understand how are the sentiments from the AI builder. For this, we'll do a donut chart. Next, I would also like to focus on a particular project that we have done and the relevant sentiment analysis, visualized through a cluster column chart. Thirdly, I think we need to know the demographics. For this, we'll look at the age group being submitted of our respondents, and as well as the gender. So last, we also need to have the details that was collated earlier on within our survey. This would include the unique object ID, the project information, some of the sentiment values, age, gender. We'll try to fill in as much fields as possible so that we can have a better overall picture when we add in our geospatial data. So ArcGIS for Power BI allows the analyst to bring in an additional perspective by linking the charts together with geospatial data. So with my identity, I will be able to access the data that is specifically shared to me. In this case, it is some of the project information, such as the cooling projects which is being done within Singapore. I'll retrieve the authoritative project information from my organization's portal and add it into Power BI. Next, I can link the project information and survey information together and start asking questions. The common denominator between both are the project name, and I can create a join layer through this common field. After creating a join layer, we can improve the visualization by changing the symbology of the style of the particular layer according to the project that was being done. We can also look at the legend to identify what are the specific projects being done. In this, red are probably the reflective paint being implemented. For example, the blue are probably the green roofs which are being implemented. So from here, let's focus on a particular project area. We can zoom into a particular project area and look at the interactive charts being filtered out together with the geospatial data. We can click on a field, for example, a neutral sentiment, and look at the perspective of all the survey respondents. Let's focus on the negative sentiments. From the sample data here, it seems that the residents or respondents are not aware of the initiatives being implemented in their residential area. From this data, I think we can start to adjust some of the policy accordingly to better inform our residents of the initiatives that was being implemented. ArcGIS for Power BI allows you to enhance your Power Business data with insights on location to uncover trends and guide decision making. So we have seen how GIS is accessible for casual office users. Now we are going to switch over our focus on administrators, data scientists, and analysts who want to gain insights from spatial information. First, we'll cover ArcGIS Notebooks, followed by running through some of the work done with Microsoft to make spatial analysis capabilities within Microsoft workloads. Jupyter Notebook is open source software designed to support interactive data science and scientific computing. It is browser-based and lets you run, write, and document your codes in one place. ArcGIS Notebooks is an integrated Jupyter Notebook experience for ArcGIS. ArcGIS Notebooks is built into ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Online, and ArcGIS Notebooks. It's available as a server role for enterprise called ArcGIS Notebook Server. It allows analysts to create, share, and use Python notebooks. ArcGIS Notebooks also lets administrators automate their administration tasks. So with ArcGIS Notebooks, data scientists and analysts can gain access to spatial tools and algorithms, all exposed as Python snippets. This is something which Ying will be showing in her demo later on. They can start to build GeoAI models with ArcGIS.Learn within the familiar notebook environment. More importantly, you can increase collaboration because ArcGIS Notebooks is part of ArcGIS. You can start to share this information and start collaboration. More importantly, developers, your code will not break again because they are pointing to the common Python libraries within your environment. Now, administrators can use this to standardize, document, and automate their administration workflows so that they can have repeatable and consistent outcomes. ArcGIS Notebooks features the Python libraries, ArcGIS API for Python, and ArcPy. The standard license level includes the notebook experience. The advanced level will provide you with ArcPy. Sample notebooks demonstrate various features of the ArcGIS API for Python. The samples are categorized by their user profile they are relevant to. Data scientists will have samples for feature extraction, object classification, while administrators will have samples to manage and update their content. More importantly, most of the samples are in the form of Jupyter Notebook. So with that, I'll hand over to Ying, where she will be running through a sample notebook on how data scientists can make use of image analysis libraries from ArcGIS and other data science libraries.
Thanks, Casey. So Esri provides sample notebooks showcasing ArcGIS Notebooks capabilities across different functional categories, from data science to spatial analysis, content management to GIS administration. These aren't just for analysts, though. GIS admins can also use them to automate tasks efficiently and customize these notebooks for your use. You can open and save your own copy and customize these notebooks and save them to ArcGIS Online or your own portal. And once you've saved it in your own environment, your own customized notebook can then be shared with your organization if needed. When you open a new notebook, you'll see a similar interface to Jupyter Notebooks. There are some additional ArcGIS Notebooks features that make accessing your geospatial content and using it in notebooks a lot easier. In the top left, the Add tab is where you can seamlessly add content and web tools to your notebook from your portal or ArcGIS Online organization, as well as Esri's Living Atlas. You can also see the metadata for the data that you're interested in. Here we're looking at the multispectral Landsat dataset. Once you click on Add, it will automatically generate a line of code that adds the data to the notebook. This streamlines the process by eliminating the need to write code manually or locate item IDs, enabling quick access to your data. The Analysis tab is where you can browse and add code snippets for the analysis tools available. The standard analysis tools are grouped into categories and can perform common analytical functions ranging from finding features that meet specified criteria to running deep learning models that produce a classified raster. Adding a tool to your notebook inserts the ArcGIS API for Python syntax for that tool into a new cell. The user can also click on the Learn More link for documentation on the tool, and at the bottom of the page, you can also explore further for the ArcGIS API for Python tool parameters. And this is where you would want to look if you want to use this tool for your analysis. Another way that Esri minimizes the amount of manual coding is by providing code snippets. You can save your own code snippets, allowing you to recycle what you have written before, and these snippets can also be shared across the organization. Esri has also provided data science, content management, and GIS administration code snippets for use. For example, if you have a dataset with missing values and you want to estimate their value, a common tool to use is the Fill Missing Values tool. We can easily pull in the ArcPy code for that tool into the notebook. And the code even includes a link to the documentation for the tool itself. Let's take a look at conducting a simple raster analysis within ArcGIS Notebooks. In this example, a data analyst wants to determine the amount of circular features in an area, representing center pivots for irrigation in farmland. With notebooks, we can import both ArcGIS libraries and other Python libraries needed for the analysis. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we can first bring in data from Esri's Living Atlas, the same multispectral Landsat dataset that we added in earlier. And we want to use this because the RGB composite of this image comprises of the bands required to identify areas of healthy vegetation using an index called the Normalized Difference Vegetation Index, or NDVI. But since this dataset is a global dataset, we're going to set the layer extent to our area of interest, which is in Saudi Arabia, where the farms are situated. And we can preview the data to make sure that it's focused on our area of interest. Next, we want to identify areas of healthy vegetation. This can be done using the NDVI raster function from the ArcGIS raster library. The result is a map where the black areas indicate healthy vegetation. And we want to use the scikit images blob detection algorithm to help identify circular or blob-like structures in images. To do this, we first export the result as an image. And then we can use the following code to detect circular features in the image. To visualize the results, we use matplotlib, which is another very common data science library. And the result that we get is that we've identified 1,034 center pivots for irrigation, highlighted in red circles here. And this result can be used to analyze water usage, optimize irrigation efficiency, or monitor land use changes. So this sample notebook showcases the utilization of image analysis libraries from both ArcGIS and other data science libraries to tackle spatial data science challenges. While this sample provides a basic image processing approach to image segmentation, data scientists can address more complex problems by leveraging deep learning libraries within ArcGIS Notebooks. Back to you, Casey.
So next, I'm going to talk about ArcGIS for Microsoft Fabric. It's a continuation of Esri's support for users of the Microsoft platform. It delivers spatial visualization, analysis, and insights through seamless experience within Microsoft Fabric workloads, powered by ArcGIS. It enables these capabilities for all kinds of knowledge workers, as you have seen, BI analysts, data scientists, data engineers, and more. Microsoft Fabric is a SaaS enterprise analytics platform from Microsoft. It's designed to give business users an end-to-end solution supporting all phases of an analytics lifecycle. Esri believes Microsoft Fabric will transform data science and enterprise analytics workflows. That's why we are integrating our spatial analytics libraries inside Microsoft Fabric. This will enable analysts and data scientists to access spatial capabilities within Microsoft Fabric, just the same the way they access tools like Power BI. Let's walk through what's available. First, they are available through the powerful interactive mapping and analysis capabilities. They are already in Power BI, which were shown earlier on. This provides location insights through Power BI dashboards and reporting. Second, we're delivering ArcGIS GeoAnalytics through Fabric's data engineering and data science workloads. ArcGIS GeoAnalytics for Microsoft Fabric is a Spark native library offering over 180 geospatial analytics functions, all within the Fabric environment. This will be available in public preview soon. Last, we're working to provide an end-to-end mapping and visualization analytics that goes above and beyond the capabilities available today. This is still in active development, so there's a great opportunity for you to engage with Esri about what capabilities are needed here and influence our roadmap. Next, I'll hand it over to Ying for a demonstration.
Thanks, Casey. So the Esri GeoAnalytics library is now integrated into the Microsoft Fabric data science environment. We just need to run a notebook, and within a matter of seconds, we're up and running with access to the geoanalytics library. Using this, we can ingest data from a variety of spatial and non-spatial data sources, add geometry, and clean the data with Data Wrangler. Here, let's look at the Boston Public Safety dataset. We can view statistics of our attribute distribution as charts or tables, and data can be easily augmented and enriched with relevant characteristics using relationships between attributes or geometry when working with the geoanalytics library. For instance, using census data from the Esri Living Atlas, we'll use a data set of block groups to enrich all of the points in our data set with socio-demographic details based on a spatial join between the data sets. This data can then be written back to OneLake to share across our organization. We can further work with our data using the variety of spatial functions and tools built into the geoanalytics library. Let's look at a few of them. With large data sets, spatial binning can help us uncover patterns and aggregate our data sets for visualization and reporting. The aggregate points tool lets us quickly aggregate, including allowing us to create time slices of the data if we need to understand temporal change. Or we can use the census geographies we joined in earlier to analyze our data at that scale. These aggregated data can be written back to OneLake or to Esri feature services for use in Power BI. We can also evaluate change over time or bring in spatial statistics to explore hotspots within our data. The results of our spatial analysis can be written out to Esri feature services for sharing, developing more advanced spatial-enabled dashboards, or for subsequent analysis in MapViewer. Back to you, Casey.
Thanks, Ying. With that, I would like to conclude what we have shared today. Firstly, on accessible, we make GIS accessible to business users within their familiar Microsoft environment through ArcGIS for Microsoft 365. Second, on intuitive, the use of generative AI makes it intuitive for casual users as well as GIS professionals. Lastly, on automation, ArcGIS Notebooks enable organizations to uncover new patterns in their existing investment in geospatial data, reduces the time to perform GIS administration tasks. ArcGIS is designed to support everyone. For the full capabilities of what we have shared, I recommend you to visit our kiosk or talk to our colleagues to find out more. With that, I wrap up our presentation. Thank you.